As we know, wrestling is entertainment. Sports entertainment, to be precise. But that word entertainment encompasses a lot of things. It means wrestling is gonna try and make us laugh, make us smile, make us feel entertained, and make us cry. It's the latter which is the hardest though. Trying to get someone to buy into that degree is hard work. Really hard work. Firstly, that person has to be tremendously invested in what's going on, and then just at the right time, you gotta pull the trigger. Unless you're Ric Flair, because he can produce tears at will. While it's always good of WWE to give this a go, when it doesn't go entirely to plan, well, it's not the best. I'm Simon from What Culture, and this is 10 times WWE failed at forced emotion. Number 10, Sasha Banks' retirement voice. When Edge retired, shit was real. When Daniel Bryan retired, shit was real. When Mark Henry pretended to retire, he did it in such a way that shit seemed real. This wasn't the case with Sasha Banks on the September 5th, 2016 Raw. Clearly being told to try and emulate one of the above promos to make it seem legit, Sasha arrived in the ring to tell everyone she had some bad news following a back injury she'd sustained at SummerSlam of the same year. She then talked about her achievements, expressed her gratitude, and basically hinted that it was all coming to an end. Unfortunately, it was clear this wasn't true at all, and the reason it was clear is because it wasn't true at all. It's not Sasha's fault. She was told to go out there and act, but given it wasn't based on anything, it just came across like an angle, and also a bit weird because here was a babyface trying to manipulate the fans, which is not what a babyface should do. Number 9, Shawn Michaels' lost smile. Has anyone seen HBK's smile? He lost it, and damn it, he can't wrestle until he gets it back. Or until you agree he doesn't have to lose, but either is fine. As the story goes though, Shawn Michaels apparently made up a knee injury to get himself out of putting Bret Hart over at WrestleMania 13 in 1997. He announced this on a Raw prior, and both he and the WWE did everything possible to get this across as a sad, shocking moment. The problem, however, is that no one else saw it that way. There was no outpouring of grief except for one woman who was dressed as the Heartbreak Kid. She was devastated, as you would be. She wasted money on that costume. But everyone else just started chanting for Psycho Sid. It didn't help that even Shawn himself seemed to not give too much of a damn. He squeezed a tear out at the end of his promo, but it's not the most heartfelt thing you've ever witnessed. Number 8, Triple H's retirement threat. At SummerSlam 2012, Triple H was bested by Brock Lesnar and had the crap kicked out of him. He was beaten up so badly that he got all watery-eyed and professed that due to all of this, it may be it. It referring to retirement. Now, I won't lie, I quite liked this angle, and Triple H disappearing for a while helped it all too. Unfortunately, it was clear to most people that this was all happening to set up a rematch down the line, which is what it did. So even when it was all going on, it's not like individuals shared any tears with the game. But still, I thought it was alright, but what do I know? Number 7, Alberto Del Rio's babyface title triumph. Alberto Del Rio's face turn was all over the place, seemingly out of nowhere and going completely against how his character had behaved up to that point. He developed a serious conscience all of a sudden at TLC 2013 and saved his longtime ring announcer Ricardo Rodriguez from 3MB. Then a month later, with even less build, he defeated Big Show for the World Heavyweight title in what was meant to be this emotional moment for a man who had been chasing gold. But it wasn't. It got a pop at the time, sure, but ultimately the whole thing just felt really fake and left fans lukewarm to the whole thing. Had we been given a reason to care, things may have been different. Number 6, Rey Mysterio's first world title win. You can look at Rey Mysterio's first world title win in 2 ways. Firstly, it was a very emotional moment given the whole booking leading up to this point had focused on the death of Eddie Guerrero and what that meant to Rey himself. So getting the title off the back of all this was no doubt something very special to the Masked Man and fans in the arena that night. The unfortunate business comes in some of the references made towards Latino heat. While there's always the argument of Eddie would have wanted it this way, hearing Randy Orton say there was more chance of Guerrero coming back to life than Rey winning the championship was difficult. Wheeling out a memorial lowrider to commemorate him was a bit uncomfortable too. It's never easy when a wrestler passes away, and how you treat that is up in the air as well. But if you're a fan watching on TV, sometimes reality can be a little too real. Number 5, Stephanie McMahon confronts 9/11. WWE's treatment of 9/11 was very fitting, with genuine heartfelt statements from most of the roster and a very real sense of patriotism running through the SmackDown tribute. It was the best way the company could have handled the tragedy. That was until Stephanie McMahon came on screen. For reasons that will never be explained, Steph decided to use this moment to focus on the steroid trial Vince McMahon had been involved in years prior, as opposed to the victims. Talking about people who tried to destroy her family, I'm not quite sure what she wanted to get across, but whatever her intended emotion was, it didn't work. It was just weird and probably a bit offensive to some people. Number 4, Big Show's tears. In 2013, Triple H had the Big Show by the, well, balls, and was using him as his very own mercenary. And what did he ask him to do? Punch Daniel Bryan in the face. Now, this was obviously made worse due to the fact that Big Show and Daniel were friends. And it was made worse still because Triple H was treating Show like a puppet and threatening him with being fired if he didn't do what he said. The problem was as follows. For one, Big Show kept telling us he was only doing this to provide for his family, even though he'd been wrestling for years, so you'd assume he was doing alright. Secondly, who cares? Big Show was able to shed some real tears after smacking Bryan in the face, and that was pretty good to an extent, but it's not like everyone and their dog was sharing in the same emotion. That's because they weren't. Loads of people get hit in the face in wrestling. Why was this one any different? Number 3, Tommy Dreamer's WWE ECW Hardcore Homecoming. Tommy Dreamer is the man and an ECW legend. There's no two ways about it. He deserves his place in history and will long be remembered for everything he's done for pro wrestling. Unfortunately, when he successfully won the WWE ECW title from Christian at Extreme Rules 2009, WWE expected a very different reaction to the one they got. As Matt Striker on commentary ranted on about the ovation and how these people believed in Tommy Dreamer, it was clear he was seeing and hearing things that we weren't, because there was barely any noise and everyone was sat on their hands. The fact Dreamer still had to follow script and say, "Wow," was even worse. There was no wow here. Number 2, Jose Lothario's heart attack. Psycho Sid defeated Shawn Michaels at Survivor Series 1996 because the dastardly Sid held a camera into the chest of HBK's manager and trainer, Jose Lothario. Concerned for his friend's well-being, Shawn was distracted and ultimately lost. On paper, it's quite a good idea. There's emotion to play off, it makes sense, it's not too contrived. That's not how the crowd in Madison Square Garden saw it on this night though. Not only did they boo Michaels throughout, but they just didn't care that a man may have been having a heart attack. I mean, they obviously knew it was part of the story, but that came across on TV too. A bunch of wrestling fans with an outpouring of apathy. I'm not sure that's what WWE was going for. Number 1, John Cena's 2011 goodbye speech. No one actually believed that John Cena was leaving the WWE after being fired as part of the Nexus angle. He's John Cena. He ain't going nowhere. But he still came out and played the part, and the live crowd did buy it to some degree. Cena was awesome in his delivery too, and made a very nice speech about his career and life up to that point. The issue, of course, was that it was impossible to believe fully. All you had to do was log on to the internet to know he was coming back soon, which he did, the following week. If WWE had actually wanted people to think he was going away for a long time, they certainly tried their best, but the world they'd already created stopped them from achieving that goal. It was like a weird irony or something.
So that was our video. Thank you for watching. Please do feel free to click on anything happening around my head, or something terrible might happen to this dog. Is that you too sweeting me, bro? Ugh. Disgusting. That's really bad.